The spaceship, Orion, drifted silently through the dark, uncharted sector of the galaxy. Its metal body reflected the faint light of distant stars, casting long shadows across the crew's tense faces. Captain Rylan leaned over the control panel, staring at the strange readings on the monitor. "These signals, they're human," he said quietly, almost to himself. "But they're coming from a planet we've never mapped." Lieutenant Mira frowned. "Human signals, Captain? Out here? That's impossible. We are hundreds of light years from the nearest known human colony." Ryland didn't answer. He only pointed to the monitor. A small, blinking, hovered over the planet below. A dot that seemed alive. Something about it felt wrong. The crew gathered in the observation deck, eyes glued to the planet. From orbit, it looked ordinary at first. Rocky plains, scattered forests, and a winding river that glowed faintly in the sunlight. But then they noticed the settlement. Small houses, neatly arranged, with smoke rising from chimneys. "Someone is living there," Mira whispered. Her voice was tense, but her eyes held curiosity. "Humans on an uncharted planet?" Ryland shook his head. "We need to investigate." Carefully, the landing was smooth, but tense. The spaceship touched the ground with soft thud, kicking up dust and small rocks. The air outside was thick, with a faint metallic smell, unlike any place they had visited before. Rylan and Mira led the crew out of the ship. They were armed, but cautiously. Every step toward the colony felt heavier. The houses looked normal at first, doors, windows, even garden patches. But there was something off. No children were playing outside. No animals wandered near the houses. Silence. The crew split up to explore, keeping each other in sight. Jonas, the engineer, entered one of the houses first. Dust covered the furniture, but signs of recent life were clear. Fresh bread on the table, a cup with a small amount of liquid, and a child's toy in the corner. "This is strange," Jonas muttered. "They left in a hurry. Look at this." He pointed to the walls. Strange symbols were painted across the room, jagged lines that twisted unnaturally. "I've never seen anything like this." Mira joined him, examining the symbols. "It looks like some kind of warning. But for whom? There's no one here." As the crew explored further, they found more unsettling signs. Clothing scattered across the ground. Footprints leading into the forest. A garden still growing, but untouched for weeks, maybe months. Everything suggested the humans had disappeared suddenly. Ryland's communicator beeped, breaking the silence. "Captain, you need to see this," Leah, the biologist, said from another house. Ryland walked quickly to her location. There, on the floor, were more strange markings. This time, alongside them, was a small, crudely carved figure, half human, half animal. It had sharp claws and a twisted face, staring up at the ceiling. This is a warning," Leah said, her voice trembling. "They were trying to protect themselves. Or someone. Something." Suddenly, a sound echoed through the empty colony. A low, growling noise, almost distant but unmistakably real. The crew froze. Mira motioned for everyone to stay quiet. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Jonas swallowed hard. "Yeah, something is out there. Something big." The growling grew louder, closer. Shadows moved between the houses. The crew instinctively formed a circle, weapons ready. But what they saw next made their blood run cold. From behind the largest house, a figure emerged. It was humanoid, but twisted. Its skin was grayish rough, with long claws and glowing yellow eyes. Its mouth opened in a silent roar, revealing jagged teeth. The crew gasped, frozen in terror. Ryland raised his blaster, aiming carefully. "Stay calm. Don't move until I give the order." The creature tilted its head, studying them. Then, with a speed that made the crew stumble back, it darted into the shadows, disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. Mira looked at Ryland. "It's intelligent. It knows we're here." Ryland nodded, tension in his jaw. This was no random attack. These humans, they were hiding from something. Something dangerous. The crew decided to regroup at the center of the colony, in the largest building. It looked like a community hall, with tables and chairs neatly arranged. They barricaded the doors and windows, trying to make a safe perimeter. Leah pulled out her tablet, scanning the building for any clues. "Look at this," she said. "These are logs. Humans kept them here. Maybe they explain what happened." The crew gathered around, reading the entries. The first few were normal, daily routines, farming schedules, greetings to neighboring colonies. But then the tone changed. "They're scared," Mira said. "Listen, night falls. We hear the growling outside. Shadows move among the trees. We hide, but we know it will come for us." Jonas shook his head. It's like they were being hunted. The logs continued, each entry more terrifying than the last. "We tried to fight it, but it adapts. We cannot escape. Pray for us, whoever finds this." Ryland's face was pale. They were not just hiding from wild animals. They were hunted by something smarter, faster, something alien. Suddenly, a crash echoed outside. The building shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The creature or creatures were attacking, testing their defenses. The crew readied their weapons, hearts pounding. The growling came again, louder and closer. The shadows shifted in unnatural ways. One of the crew's scanners picked up multiple moving heat signatures outside, surrounding the building. Mira whispered, almost to herself, "We walked right into their territory, and they are not happy we are here." Ryland stood tall, despite the fear. "Listen, we came here to find answers. And we will, but we survive first. We move carefully, watch every corner, and don't underestimate them. Stay close and follow my lead." Hours passed in tense silence. Every sound made them flinch. The growls returned intermittently, echoing through the empty streets. Every shadow felt alive, watching, waiting. Then, as the sun began to set, a small figure appeared in the distance. It was a child, or at least it looked like one, but with the same glowing eyes as the creature. It didn't attack, only stared. Leah's hand trembled as she raised the camera. "It's observing us. Maybe it's curious." Ryland frowned. "No, it's testing us. Everything here is a test. And if we fail..." His words trailed off, but the meaning was clear. The crew watched as the figure slowly retreated into the forest. The shadows followed and silence returned, but the tension remained thick. Mira sighed, her voice barely audible. "This is worse than I imagined. We thought we were discovering a human colony. But it's a graveyard, a trap, and we are in it." Ryland looked around at his crew, determination in his eyes. "Then we make our own rules. We survive the night, find the answers, and leave this place. Whatever it takes." As night fell, the colony seemed alive in a new way. Eyes glowed in the dark, and growls echoed from every corner. The crew huddled together, knowing that tomorrow would bring the first real encounter with whatever had hunted this colony, and that their lives might never be the same again. Above them, stars shone indifferently, hiding the secrets of the planet. And deep in the shadows, something moved, watching, learning, waiting. The unexpected turning point had arrived. They were no longer explorers. They were prey. Night had fully taken control of the colony. Dark clouds covered most of the stars. The wind moved slowly between broken houses, making soft, whistling sounds. It felt like the planet itself was whispering warnings. Inside the old community hall, Captain Ryland and his crew sat in complete silence. No one spoke. No one slept. Every sound outside made their hearts beat faster. A low growl echoed again, closer this time. Mira slowly checked her weapon. Her hands were steady, but her eyes showed fear. "They are still there," she whispered. Jonas looked at the scanner. Heat signals everywhere, at least 10, maybe more. Leah hugged her tablet to her chest. "They are watching us, waiting." Ryland took a deep breath. "They won't attack yet. Predators don't rush. They study first." Another sound followed. Scratch, scratch. Something scraped against the metal door. The crew froze. The door shook lightly, then stopped. Silence returned, but it was worse than noise. Ryland stood up slowly. "We cannot stay here forever. When morning comes, we move. We find answers." Mira nodded. "And weapons." Everyone agreed. They needed to know what they were facing. Morning of fear. When the first week's sunlight touched the colony, the growling stopped. No shadows moved. No eyes glowed. Only broken streets and empty homes remained. It was like the monsters had vanished. But Rylan knew better. They are still here, he said. Just hiding. The crew opened the hall door carefully. Nothing happened. They stepped outside. The air felt cold and heavy. Jonas checked the ground. Fresh tracks. Big ones. They were here all night. Mira looked toward the forest. They went that way. Rylan pointed in another direction. Before the forest, we checked the east side. There was something on the map. Leah zoomed in on her tablet. Yes, strange area. No plants. No animals. Like the land is dead. They moved slowly, weapons ready. Every shadow made them nervous. Every sound felt dangerous. After walking for 20 minutes, they reached it. A wide open field. No grass. No trees. Only gray soil. And bones. Thousands of bones. The graveyard. The crew stopped. No one spoke. Before them stretched a massive graveyard. Huge skeletons lay everywhere. Some were taller than houses. Some had wings. Some had 6 legs. Some had sharp horns and long tails. These were not normal animals. These were monsters. Dead monsters. Jonas whispered, "By the stars, what is this place?" Leah knelt beside one skeleton. These bones are old, but not too old. Maybe 10 years. Maybe less. Mira looked around. Humans killed them? Rylan walked forward carefully. Looks like it. Near the bones, they found broken weapons. Human-made blasters. Alien blades. Explosive remains. Defense towers, destroyed and rusted. It had been a battlefield. A terrible one. They fought here, Rylan said. A war. Humans against monsters. Jonas frowned. But how did they win? Look at the size of these things. Leah picked up a strange device. This is experimental tech. Very advanced. Not used in normal colonies. Rylan's eyes narrowed. So this wasn't a simple farming colony. Mira added, it was a fortress. Suddenly, the scanner beeped. Jonas checked it. Captain movement underground. Underground? Rylan asked. Yes, beneath the graveyard. They looked around. Leah pointed. Their half-buried door. Hidden under bones and dirt was a metal hatch. It was scratched, broken, forced open long ago. Rylan raised his hand. Weapons ready. They slowly approached. Darkness waited below. Into the depths. The ladder inside the hatch was rusty. One by one, they climbed down. Cold air touched their faces. The tunnel was wide and artificial. Lights on the walls flickered weakly. This is a bunker, Jonas said. A big one. They walked deeper. Soon, the tunnel opened into a massive underground base. Broken screens. Destroyed machines. Empty weapon racks. Blood stains. Claw marks. Everything told a story of panic and violence. Leah whispered. This place was their last hope. They entered a control room. A large screen still worked. It showed old recordings. Rylan activated it. A human woman appeared. She looked tired, scared, but determined. This is Dr. Evelyn Carter. The recording said, if anyone finds this, know that we tried. The crew listened carefully. We came to this planet to study alien life. Dr. Carter continued. We found something powerful. Something that could change humanity forever. The screen changed. Images appeared. Creatures in glass chambers. Small versions of the monsters outside. Alive. Breathing. We studied their strength, their healing, their intelligence, she said. We tried to control them. Mira clenched her fists. They made them. Yes, Rylan said quietly. Humans created this nightmare. The video continued. They escaped, Dr. Carter said. They learned. They grew. They hunted us. Scenes of attacks appeared. Colonists running. Buildings burning. Monsters tearing walls apart. We built weapons, she said. We fought back. We killed many. But not enough. Her voice broke. They're evolving faster than we can stop them. The video ended. Silence filled the room. Jonas whispered, so the graveyard is their victory. Leah looked down. and their failure, because some survived. A loud crash interrupted them. The ceiling shook. Dust fell. Mira shouted, "They found us!" The first ambush. Growls echoed in the tunnels. Multiple. Fast. Close. Red lights flashed. Warning systems came alive. Jonas checked sensors. They are coming from all sides. Rylan raised his weapon. Positions. Don't panic. Dark shapes rushed through corridors. Yellow eyes glowed. Claws scraped metal. The first monster appeared. It was taller than Rylan. Muscles thick like steel. Mouth full of sharp teeth. Rylan fired. The shot hit. But the creature only staggered. Mira fired next. Direct hit to the head. It fell. Dead. But more followed. 3, 5, 7. They attacked together. Smart. Organized. Leah hid behind a console, shaking. Jonas threw an energy grenade. Explosion. 2 monsters fell. Others jumped back. They learned fast. Jonas yelled. One creature climbed the wall. Jumped. Almost reached Mira. Rylan shot it midair. It crashed. Breathing hard, Rylan said, "We can't stay. We're outnumbered." Mira nodded. Exit tunnel. Now! They ran. Monsters chased them. Roars filled the base. Claws struck walls. Near the ladder, one creature blocked their path. It was different, bigger, smarter. Its eyes glowed brighter. It looked curious, not angry, studying them. Rylan slowly raised his weapon. The monster tilted its head. Then, it stepped aside. Let them pass. Everyone froze. Why? Leah whispered. No one knew. They climbed fast, escaped to the surface. The hatch slammed shut behind them. The sound stopped. A dark realization. They returned to the colony in silence. Sweaty, tired, shaken, they sat inside a house, trying to breathe. Mira finally spoke. That big one let us go. Rylan nodded. Yes. Jonas frowned. Why would it do that? Leah looked afraid. Because it doesn't fear us. Rylan's voice was calm but heavy. Because it is learning. They all understood. The monsters were not just surviving. They were evolving, thinking, planning. The graveyard was not the end. It was only the beginning. Outside, far in the shadows, glowing eyes watched the house. The leader remembered them, and next time, it would not let them escape. The colony did not feel empty anymore. It felt watched. Every broken window looked like an eye. Every dark street felt like a trap. After escaping the underground base, Captain Rylan and his crew returned to one of the safest houses near the center of the colony. Thick metal walls protected it. Long ago, humans had turned it into a shelter. Now it was their only safe place. Rylan locked the door. Mira checked every corner. Jonas repaired a damaged power unit. Leah sat on the floor, staring at her tablet. No one spoke for a long time. Their minds were full of fear and questions. Finally, Leah broke the silence. There is more here, she said softly. More than that video. Rylan looked at her. What do you mean? She turned her tablet toward him. The base data was damaged, but I recovered part of it. Jonas walked closer. Recovered? Yes, Leah said. Hidden files. Protected files. She tapped the screen. A map appeared. It showed the entire colony, but with new markings. Red zones. Blue tunnels. Green symbols. Mira leaned forward. What are those? Leah took a breath. Escape routes. Secret labs. And safe rooms. Rylan frowned. So the colonists built more than one bunker. Yes, Leah replied. Many more. The forgotten building. One location on the map glowed brighter than others. A large structure at the edge of the colony, half inside the forest, half buried in rock. That place, Leah said. Data says it was called Center Alpha. Jonas raised his eyebrows. Sounds important. Rylan nodded. Then that's where we go. Mira checked her weapon. Before dark. They moved quickly, staying close, watching every shadow. The forest near Center Alpha was thick and silent. No birds, No insects. Only dry leaves under their boots. After 10 minutes, they saw it. A tall metal building. Cracked. Covered in vines. Partly collapsed. A broken symbol was painted above the door. The same symbol they had seen inside the houses. Warning. Fear. Whatever happened, Mira said. Started here. Ryland pushed the door. It opened slowly, with a loud creak. Inside the past. The air inside was cold. Lights flickered weakly. The building was still alive. Barely. They walked through long corridors. Broken glass everywhere. Blood stains on walls. Some doors were burned. Others were locked from inside. Leah scanned the area. Life signs none, but power still running in lower levels. Jonas pointed. Elevator shaft. They climbed down, level by level, until they reached level 5, the deepest floor, the heart of Center Alpha. Here, everything looked different. Clean, organized, protected, thick doors, strong walls, security cameras. This was their main lab, Leah said. Ryland tried the main door. Locked. Jonas connected his device. After a few seconds, click, it opened. Inside was a large circular room. Glass chambers lined the walls. Most were broken, but a few still worked. Inside them, creatures. Small, sleeping. Monster infants. Alive. Mira stepped back. They're still growing. Leah looked shocked. They kept breeding them. Ryland felt anger rising. They didn't just study them. They farmed them. A screen turned on. Another recording started. Dr. Evelyn Carter appeared again, but she looked worse now. Her face was thin. Her eyes tired. We crossed a line, she said. We wanted power. We wanted protection. So we used their DNA. Images followed. Human soldiers. Injected. Changed. Stronger. Faster. With glowing eyes. They mixed monster DNA with humans, Jonas whispered. They created hybrids, Mira said. Yes, Ryland replied, and lost control. The hidden truth, Dr. Carter continued. The creatures learned from us. They copied us. Our tactics, our emotions, our anger. Scenes showed monsters using tools, opening doors, setting traps. They are not animals, she said. They are becoming a new species. Her voice trembled. And the leader, he was once human. The screen froze. A picture appeared. A man, young, strong, smiling. Name, Project Atlas. Subject 1. Leah gasped. He was a volunteer. Jonas read the file. A soldier. He agreed to the experiment. Ryland clenched his fists. They turned him into that thing. Mira whispered. And now he leads them. Suddenly, the power flickered. Lights dimmed. Alarm started. Warning. A voice announced. Containment failure. Leah looked at her tablet. Energy spike outside. Big one. Ryland's heart sank. The leader. The message. Another screen turned on. But this time, it was live. A camera feed. It showed the forest. Trees moving. Then, he appeared. The leader, huge, scarred, eyes glowing bright gold, standing tall, watching the building. Then he looked directly at the camera. At them, his mouth opened, and he spoke. In broken, human language, you came back. The crew froze. Mira whispered, it talks? The creature continued, you walk in our pain. Ryland stepped forward. You were human once. The leader tilted his head. Human betrayed us. Leah cried softly. We're not like them. The leader's voice grew stronger. You carry their blood. Screens showed more monsters gathering, surrounding Center Alpha. They are coming, Jonas said. And not to kill us, Ryland replied. To judge us. A choice. The ground shook. Roars echoed. Walls trembled. Mira raised her weapon. We fight. Ryland shook his head. We cannot win. Leah spoke quickly. There's a data core here. All research. All truth. Jonas found it. Portable. Ryland made a decision. We take it. We leave. We tell the galaxy. Mira hesitated. And them? Rylan looked at the screen. At the leader. We cannot fix this, he said. But maybe we can stop others from repeating it. They grabbed the core, ran. Explosions shook the building. Monsters broke in. Claws tore metal. They barely reached the exit. Outside, the leader watched. Did not attack. Only stared. As if letting them go. Again. The warning. Back in their ship that night. The crew finally rested. But no one slept. Rylan uploaded the data. This is proof, he said. Humans created this. Mira whispered. And now they will pay for it. Leah looked at the stars. Do you think he hates us? Rylan answered slowly. No. He fears what we might become. Far below, in the dark forest, the leader stood, looking at the sky, remembering his past, planning his future, and preparing. For war, the night was not silent. It was waiting. Dark clouds covered the sky. No stars were visible. The wind moved slowly through the broken colony, carrying distant growls and low echoes. Inside the spaceship Orion, Captain Rylan sat in the command chair, staring at the main screen. The data core glowed beside him. The truth of this planet. The truth of human mistakes. Mira stood near the weapons rack. Scanners show movement everywhere. Jonas checked the systems. Power at 80%. Shields at 70. Leah hugged herself. They're surrounding us, aren't they? Rylan nodded slowly. Yes, they are not hiding anymore. On the screen, red dots appeared. Dozens, then hundreds, all moving toward the colony, toward the ship. They're coming, Jonas whispered. Not running, not rushing, marching, like an army. The first wave. A loud roar shook the ground. Trees fell. Buildings cracked. From the forest, monsters emerged. Big ones, small ones, fast ones, heavy ones. All different, all deadly. Mira stared. This is not a hunt. This is war. Rylan stood up. Battle stations. The ship's defense turrets activated. Lights turned red. Warning alarms filled the air. Target locked. Jonas said. Fire, Rylan ordered. Blue energy beams shot from the ship. 2 monsters fell. Then 5. Then 5. Then 10. But more came. They climbed over bodies. Ignored pain. Kept moving. They don't care about losses, Leah said. They are driven by something stronger than fear, Rylan replied. Revenge. Breach. A massive creature rushed forward. Bigger than all others. Covered in thick armor-like skin. It slammed into the ship's shield. Boom. The shield flickered. Jonas shouted, Shield down to 50. Mira fired a heavy cannon. The blast hit the creature. It fell, but stood again. Stronger. Angrier. Nothing stops it, she yelled. Rylan grabbed the communicator. Prepare emergency protocol. We may have to evacuate. Suddenly, crash. Another monster jumped onto the ship. Its claws pierced metal. Sparks flew. Hull breach warning sounded. Leah screamed. Section C is damaged. Air rushed out. Rylan ran. Mira with me. They reached the corridor. Metal was torn open. One creature crawled inside. Its eyes burned bright. Rylan fired. Direct hit. It fell. But 2 more followed. Mira threw a flash grenade. Bright light. The monsters screamed. They retreated. For now. The leader arrives. Then, everything stopped. The roars faded. The army parted. A path opened. From the forest, he came. The leader. Project Atlas. Once human. Now something else. Tall. Scarred. Eyes glowing like suns. He walked slowly. Calm. Confident. Every monster bowed its head. Leah whispered. They worship him. Rylan activated the external speaker. We don't want more blood. The leader looked up. You carry our story, he said. You will tell it. Yes, Rylan replied. We will. The leader's voice grew cold. But first you will feel our pain. He raised his hand. The army roared. Attack resumed. Chaos. Monsters charged again. Faster. Smarter. Some used cover. Some threw rocks. Some climbed buildings to jump. They're using tactics. Jonas shouted. Mira fired nonstop. Her weapon overheated. She switched to another. Leah helped reload. Explosion. Smoke. Fire. The colony became a battlefield. One monster broke through the cockpit window. Glass shattered. Rylan rolled. Fired. It fell. Jonas was hit by debris. He fell. Jonas! Leah cried. Rylan dragged him to safety. Blood covered his arm. I'm okay, Jonas said, lying. He was not. Another blast hit the engine. Warning lights flashed. Engine failing. Jonas shouted. We can't lift off. Rylan's heart sank. They were trapped. The sacrifice. Mira looked at the map. There's an old defense tower nearby. Leah nodded. Powered by geothermal energy. Still active. Jonas struggled to stand. If we activate it, it can create a shock wave. Rylan understood. Strong enough to push them back. But Leah hesitated. Someone must stay inside to overload it. Silence. Everyone knew. It was a one-way mission. Jonas spoke first. I'll do it. No, Rylan said. You're injured. Mira stepped forward. I'm trained for combat systems. No, Leah cried. We need you. Rylan closed his eyes. Then open them. I will go. Captain, Mira began. I am responsible, he said, for this crew, for this mission. Mira grabbed his arm. We won't let you die alone. Rylan looked at her. One person only. Less time. More chance. He turned to Leah. Get them ready. Leah was crying, but she nodded. The final run. Rylan ran through burning streets, dodging claws, jumping over bodies, shots flying around him. Monsters chased. He reached the tower, entered, locked the door. Inside, ancient machines hummed. Jonas guided him through communicator. Main core, lower level red lever. Rylan ran downstairs. Monsters banged on the door. Cracks appeared. He reached the control panel. Overload in 2 minutes, Jonas said. Enough time? Rylan asked. Yes, Jonas replied. Barely. Rylan looked at a small screen. It showed his crew. Mira holding Leah, both crying. He smiled. Take care of each other, he said. Captain, wait. Mira shouted. Transmission cut. The light. Outside. The leader sent something. He looked at the tower. Eyes widened. Stop, he commanded. But it was too late. A bright light exploded. Shockwave spread. Energy burst across the colony. Monsters were thrown back. Buildings shook. Trees fell. Silence followed. When the dust settled, the tower was gone. So was Rylan. The army was broken. Scattered. Running. Defeated. Aftermath. The ship engines restarted. Jonas fixed them. Barely. The Orion rose slowly. Leah stared at the ground. Tears falling. He saved us, she whispered. Mira stood straight. He gave us a chance. On the ground, the leader watched the ship rise. He felt something new. Not anger. Not hate. Respect. Human was brave, he said. He turned away. The war was not over. But tonight, they had learned the cost. A new captain. Inside the ship, Mira sat in the command chair. Rylan's chair. She took a deep breath. We finished the mission, she said. We tell the truth. Jonas nodded. For him. Leah looked at the stars. For everyone. The Orion flew into space, carrying pain, carrying truth, carrying hope. And the story was not finished yet. Space was silent. Too silent. The spaceship Orion moved slowly through the dark sky, leaving the cursed planet behind. Inside, no one spoke. No one smiled. Captain Ryland's empty chair stood in the center of the command room. A reminder. A wound. Mira sat in it now. Not because she wanted power. Because someone had to lead. Her hands rested on the controls. They were steady. But her heart was broken. Leah sat near the window, staring at distant stars. Jonas worked quietly on damage systems. The ship was alive. But the crew fell hollow. They had survived. But they had lost. A message from the past. Suddenly, a soft beat broke the silence. Jonas looked up. Incoming signal from the data core. Leah turned. Auto message. Yes, Jonas replied. Locked. Only opens after Captain Ryland's life sign stop. Mira froze. Open it. The screen lit up. Ryland appeared. Recorded. Calm. Smiling gently. If you are watching this, he said, then I failed to come back. And you are alive. Leah covered her mouth. Myra's eyes filled with tears. That means I made the right choice, Ryland continued. I want you to know something. This mission was never about monsters. It was about responsibility. Images appeared. Old human labs. Secret meetings. Military plans. High Command knew, Ryland said. They funded Project Atlas. They hid the truth. Jonas whispered. They knew? Yes, Ryland's voice said. And they will try to erase this. The message continued. You must not let them. Upload everything. Show the galaxy. Even if they hunt you. Ryland smiled. Mira, you are stronger than you think. Lead them. Protect them. The message ended. Silence returned. But now, it burned. With purpose. Pursued. Warning alarms suddenly screamed. Jonas jumped. 3 ships detected. Human design. Military class. Mira stood. They followed us. Leah's face turned pale. To silence us. On the screen, dark ships appeared. Fast. Armed. Dangerous. A voice came through. This is a fleet command. Power down and prepare for boarding. Mira replied coldly. We carry evidence of illegal experiments. The voice laughed. You carry lies. Energy beams fired. One hit the Orion. The ship shook. We can't outrun them, Jonas said. Mira thought fast. Set course to Nebula X9. Leah looked up. The storm zone? No one survives there. Exactly, Mira replied. Into the storm. The Orion rushed forward. Stars blurred. Dark clouds appeared. Electric storms filled space. Lightning danced between gas clouds. Entering Nebula. Jonas shouted. Enemy ships followed. Explosions rocked space. One enemy ship crashed. Another lost control. But 2 remained. Inside the storm, systems failed. Lights flickered. Engines overheated. Core unstable. Jonas yelled. Leo worked desperately. If it explodes, we die. Mira remembered Ryland. Stay calm. She slowed the ship. Turned sharply. Used storms as cover. An enemy ship collided with a gas wave. Destroyed. Only one left. The strongest. It followed. Relentless. The hidden station. Suddenly, Leah gasped. Signal ahead, ancient station. Jonas zoomed in. A hidden space platform. Old. Forgotten. Emergency dock? Mira asked. Yes, Jonas said. They rushed inside. Docked. The enemy ship waited outside. Watching. Trapped. The final truth. Inside the station, old systems activated. A hologram appeared. A man, older, wearing high command uniform. I am Director Hale, it said. Founder Project Atlas. Mira, clench your fists. Murderer. Hale spoke calmly. We created protectors, not monsters. Leah shouted, you destroyed lives. Hale continued. Atlas was meant to defend humanity from extinction. Jonas asked, by turning humans into beasts? Yes, Hale replied. Necessary sacrifice. Mira stepped forward. You made slaves. Hale smiled. And you will bring them back. What? Leah asked. The leader. Subject 1. He carries our greatest weapon. Mira understood. They want him. Yes, Hale said. Alive. A choice for the galaxy. Enemy troops boarded the station. Footsteps echoed. Weapons ready. Mira looked at her crew. They will take the data. Then erase everything. Jonas whispered. Unless we broadcast it now. But the signal needs time, Leah said. I'll buy it, Mira replied. She ran. Locked doors. Redirected power. Fought soldiers. Blasts. Smoke. Pain. Leah and Jonas worked. Uploading. Percent. 30? 50? 70? Mira was injured, bleeding, still fighting. Ryland's words echoed. Protect them. Percent 90? An officer cornered her. Give up, he said. She smiled weakly. For him. She fired. Final upload, 100%. Data sent. Across galaxies. To humans. To aliens. To everyone. Truth was free. Freedom. The station exploded. Orion escaped at last moment. They flew away. Damaged, but alive. Behind them, enemy ship retreated. Mission failed. A new beginning. Weeks later, safe space. Galactic Council Hall. Screen showed Project Atlas files. Public outrage spread. Sanctions. Arrests. Trials. High command fell. Mira stood before leaders. Do not repeat this, she said. Respect life. They listened, because now they had proof. The leader's choice. On the distant planet, the leader watched the sky. Signals reached him. Truth. History. Pain. He understood. Humans were divided. Some evil, some brave. Like Rylan, he turned away from war, led his people into deep forests, to rebuild, to live, not to hate. Legacy. On Orion, Mira placed a small plaque. Captain Rylan, protector of truth. Leah smiled softly. Jonah saluted. They continued exploring, not as conquerors, not as hunters, but as guardians. The Graveyard of Monsters became a lesson, a warning, and a promise that humanity would do better.